Now that we understand integers and floats, let's learn how to work with numbers using arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are symbols that let us perform basic math operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and many more. We've used some of these arithmetic operators in our previous lesson, but in this lesson, we'll talk more about them and other arithmetic operators. We use these operators in programming to solve everything from simple calculations to complex data processing. Just like we use symbols in math, Python uses arithmetic operators to perform calculations. Let's go over each operator quickly before we see them in action with numbers. We have the addition operator, which adds two numbers. The subtraction operator subtracts one number from another. The multiplication operator with the asterisk symbol multiplies two numbers. This symbol with doubled asterisk is called exponentiation. It raises a number to the power of another number. We see that in action very soon. The division operator using forward slash divides one number by another, returning a float. We also have this arithmetic operator with double forward slash. It is called float division. It divides and returns the whole number, discarding the decimal parts. Unlike the normal division operator that returns a float, the float division operator divides and returns the whole number, and then it discards the remainder. Then we have the modulus operator that uses the symbol of percent. The modulus operator returns the remainder of a division operation. It divides a number by another and it returns only the remainder. Having known all that, let's start with some basic examples so we can see these operators in action. We'll create variables, then we'll perform operations with them and print the results. So for example, let's say we have sum results. Okay, so we can say this is equal to 10 plus 5. Okay, so if we print that, so sum result is 15. That is addition operation. This is the addition operator, one of the arithmetic operators we have in Python. We've seen this in our previous lesson, just so you know that they are called arithmetic operators. Right, so we have difference. We've also done this. So difference can be equal to 10 minus 5. All right, so we can print this also. We can also have products or multiplication. So we can say 10 multiplied by 5. So we can also, that's an error. Okay, so we can print products, all right? And we can also have a division operation. Let's call it quotient. Quotient goes by the spelling like this. Okay, so we can say 10 forward slash 5 forward slash is a division operator. So we have quotient, all right? So we are going to run this now, and then we have our sum result to be 15. We have difference to be 5. We have product to be 50, and we have quotient to be 2.0, a typical division operator. So just like we did in our last lesson, we can add the text in front of this so we'll be able to differentiate them. Okay, and you know that you always add a comma to separate your text and the variable. Any other input, you add comma to separate different input in your print function. Okay, so you can as well do that on your own. Add sum to this, difference and product, so you can clearly distinguish each of the results from one another. As you can see, each operation works as expected. Python takes two numbers, performs the arithmetic operation using arithmetic operator, and gives us the answer. Now let's take a look at a common point of confusion. We have division with a single forward slash versus float division with double forward slash. The division operator gives us a float result, while the float division operator rounds down the result to the nearest whole number. Okay, so let's see both of them in action. We've already seen division operator, so we can call this, let's call this division result so that we'll be able to compare it with a float division. Let's call this division result. Right, so we are going to print that. This is division result. We can as well copy that and paste it here. Okay, so let's can get rid of, okay, don't get rid of them. Let's just get rid of this and this. Okay, now for floor division, let's call this floor division results. Okay, so we're going to have let's say 10. Floor division goes with 2/. Okay, so we're going to have 10. Okay, let's say 3 because 5 perfectly divide 10. Okay, let's use 3 as our example here also. So with a single division, let's run this now. With a single division operator, okay, let's print this. We're going to have print floor right. Let's run this again. Okay, you can see now that with a single division operator, we have our normal result and it returns result with decimal point, which is the actual value. But with floor division is going to round down the result to the nearest whole number. So it's going to essentially get rid of the decimal part. And that's why we have 3 here instead of 3 points recurring 3. Floor division has some specific use. It can be useful when we only need the whole number part of the result and not the remainder. Alright, so let's try out exponentiation, which lets us raise a number to a power of another number. This operator can be handy for working with squares, cubes, or raising any number to any other number. For example, let's say we want to find the square of 3. Just like here we have products to use single multiplication operator, exponentiation uses, let's get rid of this. Okay, exponentiation uses double multiplication result. So we can say, let's say square. Okay, square is equal to, let's say, double multiplication symbol, and then we have 2. So this now is essentially going to raise 3 to the power of 2. If we print square now, let's say print. So let's run this now and see what we have. So you can see we have 9. If you use just single multiplication symbol, you are going to have 6 because 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. But using double multiplication symbol is going to perform exponentiation operation. So we're going to have 9. Alright. So let's say we want to perform cube. Okay, let's say cube is equal to, let's say, 4, 3. So that is going to be 4 times 4 times 4. Then let's print cube and not square now. Okay. So we have 64. If you use just a single multiplication symbol, you are going to have 12. Right? But with double multiplication symbol, we have 64. The last arithmetic operator we'll be talking about now, of course not the least, is the modulus operator using the percent symbol. The modulus operator is for finding remainders, which can be especially helpful in applications that perform even or odd number checks. The modulus operator returns only the remainder of a division operation. For example, let's get rid of this now. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so let's call this remainder. All right. So let's say remainder is 10 modulus 3. The modulus operator uses the percent symbol. So let's print this now. Let's print remainder. All right. So what are we going to have? We are going to have 1. This is because the modulus operator is going to divide 10 by 3. 10 divided by 3 is going to be 3 and it is going to remain 1. So it is only going to return the remainder and not the result. All right. So that's how the modulus operator works. The modulus operator is a great way to check if a number is even or odd. For example, if you use the modulus operator to divide a number by 2, if it returns 0, that means that number is even. If it returns a result, that means the number is either odd or prime. So like this now, having 0 as a remainder here, it's telling us that 10 is an even number. If we run this on 11, it's going to return a value. That means the number is not even. This is something that is very nifty for performing even or odd number checks. All right. Now, what happens when we have more than one of these operators in an operation? For example, let's say we can come here, let's get rid of this. We can get rid of this line. Okay, so let's say we have a results variable, and then we have results to be 3 plus 2. So we can have times 5, then exponentiation 2. All right. So what happens when we have numerous operators like this in a single operation? Well, Python follows the standard math rules of order, known as PEMDAS, which is also popularly known as BODMAS in other parts. PEMDAS is an abbreviation of parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, while BODMAS goes by brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So let's take a look at what we have as our result. If we print results now, let's say results. Okay, what do we have as our result? We have 53 as our result. How does Python arrive at this result? Just like I said that Python follows the standard mathematical order of PEMDAS. So we have, we can say PEMDAS, all right. This is DAS, all right. So we have parentheses. We don't have parentheses in our operation, followed by exponent. We have exponent, so it is first going to perform this operation. So we have 5 exponential 2, that is 5 raised to the power of 2, and that is going to give us 25. Followed by multiplication, then it's going to multiply 25 by 2, which is going to be 50. Followed by addition, so we are going to have 50 plus 3. That's how we arrive at 53. This is how Python follows the standard order of operation whenever it is performing any mathematical operations with numerous operators. It is necessary to know how each of these operators work so you can know which of them to use at the appropriate time. Also, parentheses can change the order of operation, causing unexpected results. So ensure to use appropriate operator for the proper use case. For example, if we have parentheses in this operation now, it's going to change the order of operation, and that is going to alter our result. If we run this now, we have 103 as our result. This is because parentheses comes first in the order of mathematical operation. So with this parentheses now, Python is first going to multiply these two numbers. So we have 2 times 5 to be 10. So we have 3 plus 10 exponential 2. Then if we have 10 here, the following is exponentiation. So we are going to have 10 raised to the power of 2, which is 100. Then followed by addition. So we are going to have 100 plus 3. That's how we arrived at 103. Now that we've covered all the basic arithmetic operators, practice with small problems on your own and build up as you get comfortable with each of these operators. In the next lesson, we'll explore assignment operators to make our calculations even more dynamic. I will see you in the next lesson.